Welcome back to the Journey of Love with the Mosses.
Welcome back.
You are here with Dr. E and David. I hope you guys have been doing well. We have had a pretty interesting week.
Pretty interesting. It's
Yeah.
always interesting in our world.
Always, always, always. Um,
But they,
from
no, I was just gonna say what they say. Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment with us.
yeah, most definitely. Yes, most definitely. So we are going to go ahead and get down to it. Today we are going to talk about um, just talk about learning how to grow together.
Let's talk about it.
So,
Growth is
um,
everything in a relationship.
so we're going to talk about what growth looks like in a relationship, from emotional maturity, spiritual alignment and shifts, career and purpose, um, evolutions, and physical health, and our journey with that as well.
So, getting started with this, I want to say emotional maturity is everything in a relationship because that emotional maturity comes from the two of you growing together. And a lot of, especially, let me talk from the male perspective, and I don't, some people might disagree, whatever, but I know males are under a patriarchal system that, to me, doesn't respect women the way it should. So sometimes we come into these relationships with a lot of immaturity and relationship style on how you vibe, how you understand, how you listen. Sometimes that I'm the head of the household can take over, and it can blind things. It could hinder a relationship if not done correctly. Now, some people are religious and go off of religion, and the Bible says this, and I'm not knocking nobody. However you do it, if you love it, I like it. Whatever the saying goes, but at the same time, some of these things can hinder your growth if you're really trying to be with somebody for the long term.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Emotional maturity for me has been definitely an up and down roller coaster. We go through a lot as women, just as we're growing, especially um, being emotional mature enough to be able to handle the work life balance. Because at some point or points of our careers, will shift. And if I'm not emotionally, or if he notices I'm not emotionally available, he always tries his best to make sure and pull me, pull me back in. Like, hey, baby, what's going on? What's wrong with you? A lot of times when you work aside the corporate world, or if you work in academia, whatever, wherever you work, there's always going to be crazy politics. That could definitely take a toll on you as well as your family, because you have to become this kind of like this person.
Yeah.
And luckily, a lot of times when I come home, it's kind of always there's not as much pull. Sometimes it is a lot of pull, still dwindling from work, but he always brings me back centered, brings me back whole, brings me back to myself, because a lot of times, that work life
Yeah.
can be a different beast, could be a different animal.
And you gotta be conscious not to bring what goes on at work back home, and that's hard. Sometimes it's hard because we put a lot of time and effort and value into the things that we do or our jobs. Sometimes for validation, sometimes just for us, and just to make sure you're doing the job right. But in most jobs, especially in the corporate world, it's a lot. It's a lot to bear. It's a lot to handle, especially if you're a woman trying to go through this. Because you're, once again, that patriarchal system. You're trying to maintain that and fight that, and then you're trying to always show and prove because you are a woman and people think whatever of you.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Always a
fight
silver.
is, yeah, that fight is real. And then you come home and you don't want to have to go through another fight. And as a male, I say we need to be conscious of that. Like, not to say that men aren't, but it's once again maturity. Sometimes it can be a lack of maturity in this situation, and that comes with growth. That's the part of growth and being together. So now you're learning that person and how to navigate these situations.
Yes.
So you don't end up in for meaningless arguments over nothing that could be, because one person had a bad day and you can't see it. You want love and where's my love and affection and hugs, and the other person's like, bullshit, I just had a horrible day, and you're not tapping into that. I had a horrible day vibe. It's a vibe. You can, if you know your partner, you can read it. You don't have nothing has to be said. You can look at your partner and be like, oh, hold on, something ain't right. Let's stop at the door. Let's conversate. And conversation is the biggest part of maturity. Conversation and understanding, because if you're not conversating, you're not getting the understanding of what that person's going through, what their mindset is, what their approach is. Maybe you could come up with something different.
Yeah.
But it starts with conversation.
I know it does. And that type of conversation that always starts off with you sincerely want to know what's going on.
Sincerely want to know.
Because it's kind of like if you had two cups and they're both, or one's kind of full and the other one's filled to the top. Even if yours is almost there as well, if you could just take a deep breath and woosah, I'm like, okay, let me get it together. So she feels okay, or he feels okay to go ahead and pour into me,
Right.
because now I have the capacity and the space to do so. Because at the end of the day, no matter what's going on in your head or how you feel about the situation, there's no way that you're gonna be able to pour into the other person if you can feel it and you know when you understand that, hey, there's something going on with them, and they don't have any space for my criticism or anything like that. Like, allow her or him to like really talk to you and really get down to the nitty gritty about what's going on with inside their own lives. And then once they get done, guess what? They just poured everything out, and now their cup is half full, where you can now pour back into their cup. But if you don't allow them to have that space and that opportunity, you're always going to have issues.
Yeah, and as guys, we gotta learn to open up. Cause sometimes we can hold stuff inside. I'm a man, patriarchic system. I'm a man. I can take it. I'm gonna be okay. No, you're not. You need to unload. Just like you said, just like you feel like your wife comes home and then loads everything on me from work, and I gotta listen. You should be the same way. There's no way that you should go to work and go through things that you don't come home and unload on your wife, because that's what we're here for each other. You had a hard day, even if it was a good day. Unload, vibe, talk, and that keeps a relationship strong and going. But holding things inside, that's going to hinder a relationship, because now you got all this stuff building up, and then arguments happen, and then stuff comes out that ain't supposed to come out in the wrong way. You take your aggressions out on this person, and it ain't even for them, but you didn't unload what you had on your heart. So then they take the blunt of that anger, instead of you releasing it to them. It's coming out in a different way when it can come out in love and listen and why with me and know what I'm going through. Now it's coming out in anger and yelling, and it's not even towards your mate. It's towards people at work, but you didn't unload to get to that point. So we got to learn how to get everything out of our heart, get everything out of our system. Vibe with the other person, communicate, because that's what makes that relationship stronger. Hey, this is what I've been going through. Listen, and on the flip side, if your wife comes home every day pouring into you, lean into that. Don't put like, oh, here she goes again. Oh my God. No, lean into that, because that's how a relationship grows. I know this is what's going on. Let me help you navigate this at work. Because you don't want your wife going back to work and now she's pissed off and ready to cut somebody out. And like, no, no, no. We're not doing that. We're going to take it easy. And if you feel like, stuff is going on at the job you can't take, maybe we need to look for another job. But going out there and attacking people, you need to be that voice of understanding, that good angel on the shoulder, as they would say, like, hey, this is what's going on. Let me help you navigate that. But be sincere. Don't just be like, oh, okay, what you going through? Let me hear it. No, be sincere, but let me hear what you're going through, because I need to know. Because as being in a couple, we need to know. Like, I need to know what you're going through. I need to know why you feeling. I don't want to tiptoe and be on eggshells around here because you mad. I want to know why you mad.
Oh, man.
So we ain't no eggshells. We got love and understanding in this household, and we're going to build off of that. And that's what the growth is in a relationship. That's what that maturity is. Building, growing, learning each other, communicating, talking, getting that out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of times also it's good to know and understand the type of people that your significant other is also working with.
Right.
Because if you know that their boss is manipulative, and if you know that they're very hard on them for no reason at all, just little things like that, then you already know, like, hey, how was such and such today? Like, did you guys have any run-ins or any issues? And at least for me, I went through a lot at work, a lot of politics. I don't know why academia is like that. It's really sad. Because and maybe just because when you're first coming in, it's like, oh no, it's all about the students, and then when you get there, and it's like, no, honey, it's not. It's about these politics and who's gonna pay us the biggest dollar, and it's all about fighting for the top and getting the top roles.
Yeah, dog eat dog thing.
Literally, but it's like almost like a crabs in a barrel mentality. Because at the end of the day, like, my goodness, we're both still trapped inside this system. We're both still not free and working for the man. So, so yeah, but at least letting your significant other know, like instead of you wanting to go back, to work. Now, granted, I'm not fighting anybody, but um, at least they help you. They help you become more. How do you say?
Isn't it? Maybe?
No, I was going to say, well, at least, yeah, I guess you could say center because now you're talking to your significant other more about problems that you're having. So now you feel a little bit more comfortable at the workplace, knowing that someone understands you and has your back. Because it's not always going to be your boss, or the
Yeah.
people who are at your workplace. Them people are not your friends. I don't know who needs the memo.
Right.
They are not your friends. Not even your work friends are really your friends. Maybe a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe of course there's always some outliers, but at the end of the day, they're not your friends. So
You'll look up and get one of the 200 people you work with that's truly your friend and got your back down to the end.
Yes, exactly. So definitely that emotional maturity definitely goes from work, being able to just pull yourself away and allow your significant other to have their moment if you know that, hey, they're struggling way more than I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional maturity to say, hey, they're really going through something. Let me sit back and listen. Like, I know I'm probably having fun, or if I'm hanging out doing this and that and the third, but if I see sadness coming from him or anger coming from him, then I already know, like, nah, let me go ahead and pull myself away and sincerely listen, and let's break it down. And also, let's have an exit plan
Right.
in place, because I can't have you breaking a happy home, like, for weeks in a row.
Right.
Like, this may not be the environment for
Well,
you.
yeah, it might be too stressful and it makes it stressful at home. Yeah, that might be time to make that shift to somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, like, I like what you said, like let that person have their moment, because that moment doesn't have to be a bad moment. That could be a good moment. We can learn how to celebrate these moments. Like, say if your wife gets a job and now she makes double the money you are. I know people tend to get mad at that, but celebrate that moment. You're a team. If your wife gets more money than you or whatever like that, that's not a negative. Because I know people that think that that's a negative. Like, oh no, I'm the man of the house. My wife should make more than me, and that's silly. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard of, because y'all are a team. It doesn't
Right.
matter who gets what, as long as one person gets something and we grow together and we know we're doing this together. It doesn't matter who gets it, because we're a unit. Many
Yeah.
in body, one in mind. You know what I mean? We keep it
Exactly.
right there, and that I love that phrase, and that applies to a lot. We're a team, we're a unit. We're gonna move like this. They say people are not monolithic, and that's true. But in a relationship, sometimes, especially in a marriage, in certain situations, you do have to be monolithic. You do have to think the same, move the same, go this way the same. Now we can have different ways, opinions of how to get there, but we have to move to the same, move to the tune of the same beat to get there, though. Sometimes in unison. And then we branch up and say, okay, now we got to this point. I think we should do this. I think we should do that. But,
Mm-hmm.
it's always a good thing. And then just celebrate the good times. Because it doesn't always have to be bad times. It could be, you got a moment, I got a moment, you got a raise, I got an award. You know what I mean? You
Oh,
get
yeah.
validated at work, your employee of the month or something. Let's go celebrate.
Oh, yeah,
It's always,
exactly.
let that person, I love that. Let that person have their moment. In the good moments and in the bad moments. You just make sure you're there supportive and
Oh,
doing
yeah.
what you're supposed to do.
Like,
In the good ways.
right. They're coming there. They're coming to you because they know that that's their safe space.
Right,
Right.
exactly. And it should be. And it should be for each other. We should be each other's safe space. Going back to why you should come home. If you're a man or a woman, come home and unload in a way that your partner, was receptive and they can get what you're saying. And sometimes you'd be hyped up and be like, oh, God, something happened at work. But still, get it out there. let it be known and communicate.
Gotta communicate. Communication is everything.
Everything.
Oh man, it is everything. But it's also how you create stepping stones to move forward together. If you're not having these conversations about, hey, how's your day going? I know we had great advice from his mom. His mom and his dad was married for 24 years, and they always had 15-minute dates every day where we just, without the kids, just alone. So let's say if you do have babies, though, if you do have babies, just make sure you have them early in the morning, like when you wake up, and prayerfully that baby is right there looking at you. That was up, girl. But definitely make sure you have those 15-minute dates, or you can do them at nighttime if you guys are night owls. But just make sure you're talking to each other.
Yeah.
That constant communication, that emotional, it helps out with emotional balance.
Right.
Yeah, just little things like that.
You have to be balanced.
Yeah,
You have to be balanced.
definitely have to be balanced. So that is our number one when it comes to what growth looks like.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to building a life together, building a career together, and just building life together, like learning how to grow and embrace each other along the journey, and um, and just continue to just have conversations, because you never have to try to figure out how to grow
Right.
together if you're talking with one another.
I'm sorry. No, because when you said that, people always talk about being equally yoked, and that's true. But they talk more about finances, not like emotionally equally yoked to each other. And I think that's just the point of finances. Because you can fight through finances and make money together, but if you're not equally yoked emotionally to talk to each other, then sometimes that's like an uphill battle in itself too. Like you can have your finances together, but now your emotions is all over the place, and we're not building emotionally mature with each other the way we should.
Oh yeah.
And we should be equally yoked just like that. Like if
Like all the way across.
all the way across the board.
Definitely.
That balance made me think about that when you said balance. That brought that
Yeah.
into my brain. Like, oh yeah, that's good. I like the balance
Gotta
part of
be,
it.
yin and yang.
Right.
And you gotta understand, like in Buddhism, we talk a lot about, when you bow, the shadow bows right back to you. And if you want your relationship to do or to be something, whatever the goal is in mind, like when you bow, or everything that you do and put into a relationship is going to happen right back.
Yeah.
So, if you want certain things to happen, like you have to put in work. You can't literally just talk about it. Buddhism is definitely not about just sitting around praying and hoping that it happens. It's literally about taking the will and finding the wisdom along your journey to make sure you make the right moves at the right time. But being equally yoked with your inner self and with your own energy and where you're at mentally and physically along your journey of life, and then making sure that your significant other also understands, like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm trying to get to. I'm struggling within these areas. And of course, they're not always going to have the answer. So please don't think they have the answer to your problems. The answer to your problems when it comes to finance, happiness, or anything like that, that's your responsibility. Sincerely. And I don't know if anybody has ever told you, it is not your man's job to make sure that you're happy. It is your job to make sure that you're happy. A
lot of people don't understand that.
You need to, if
it starts with you.
Oh yeah, he can accompany you on that happiness.
I like that.
And hey, give you some pointers from the sideline. But at the end of the day, the coach don't tell LeBron when it's time to catch on fire. He knows when it's time to go ahead and light that fire. I'm sorry, especially for me as a track and field coach.
Yeah.
I can give you the pointers and everything all day long. Hey, make sure I'm a throws coach. So, hey, make sure you're seating when you throw. Hey, we're going to make sure we lift these weights. I can give you the plan and the formula. But it is literally up to you to activate it, to push through, to challenge yourself, to be courageous, to be determined, and to fight. You have to God, I'm sorry, you have to fight for your own happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we assume that it is somebody else's responsibility or some, like, no, that we still get into this childlike mindset
Yeah.
of mommy and daddy's gonna take care of it, or somebody's gonna come in and save the day. Ain't nobody coming to save you, baby.
No.
If you want to be happy, you
Yeah.
better figure it out. That math is your math alone. It is not
Right.
anybody else's.
Hey, I remember Will Smith said that before. Like he went head over shield, trying to do everything to make Jada Smith happy, flowers, and he did everything, trips and everything, until he realized it's not my job. You got to be happy 1st, and I can assist with the happiness, but I cannot make you happy. You know, he said he was in his zone trying to make her happy, and they wasn't happening. They wasn't getting along, and they was gonna break a divorce. But he was still trying to make her happy, and it's not his job. She has to be happy with her. This is his words. Or I can come in and do something else to it, but
Yeah.
I can't make you happy. He said it took him years to get that across.
You know, it's crazy because even after my dad, he went through a divorce, and they were married for years, and I thought they could work it out, but that's just me. I was young. But even now, I'm like, yo, come on now. But regardless, everybody has their own journey. They have their own path. And once they did get a divorce, he was so upset, and he was so upset as he should. And he actually went ahead and moved the country like after the divorce, like that. My dad's just, yeah, I'll see y'all later. And once he did that, he probably about a couple months later, he's still wondering, like, I still feel like I'm the most unhappiest person. And I do, like, he's like, I feel like the people on the street who are literally sleeping on the street have more joy and happiness than what I do. And the thing is that you are looking somewhere outside yourself, hoping that it is going to, you thought the move was going to help, it didn't. Like, talking about your problems, and it doesn't have to be to someone. Literally, like, put your problems in prayer. Like, really try to break it down, and don't think it's going to happen after one conversation.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not. Like, you have to. Like, it's the Grand Canyon. It wasn't made overnight.
Right.
Like, the beautiful scenes of nature that's outside, and the sunset. Like, that takes all day to create. Like, to create that perfect or that amazing, that triumphant vision of yourself. It starts with you.
Yeah.
It starts with you putting in that work every second, every moment of the day until you get to that moment. And at the end of the day, you're going to still look at yourself and be like, no, I still want to do some more work, because it's a constant journey. It's not a destination.
Yeah.
But definitely, that destination is up to you to find when it comes to your own happiness.
Definitely.
It sincerely is.
Definitely.
But, at least try your best to get someone who somewhat likes the same things that you like along the way.
Yeah. No, that always helps. That always helps.
Always helps.
Yeah.
So, yes. But anyways, we really appreciate you guys clicking on.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing. If you would like to join our Patreon, we definitely have one available. Just go ahead and click the link below. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about, how you have maturely, how you have grown up maturely
Inside your relationship.
Please put inside the chat box below, inside the comment box below. Yeah, but until next time, we appreciate you.
Thank you. And keep going, maturing in your relationship.
Yeah, most definitely.
Most definitely.